Hi, my name is Nicole Ashley, a portrait and wedding photographer based in Alberta, and you are listening to the Workflows Photography Podcast.
What's up, Jeff? How's it going?
I'm doing good. How are you, Scott?
I'm doing well. Before we yeah, we do. This is what happens. Before we kick things off with our go-to questions on the show, I have one that is, you've probably been asked this 1,000 billion times. The apartment photo.
It's like, who are you and what are you doing in my house?
Yeah. What's the story behind the apartment photo as the brand name?
As the name.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah. So I met my now wife, Kat, in college. And we were sitting together in art class and we locked eyes. No, I wasn't that romantic. I was like, hey, what's up? That year, I actually started a wedding photography business, and I named it after myself, Jeff Chang Photography, and it stayed that way for a number of years. But the thing is, Kat and I ended up working together right off the bat. I actually invited her to my first wedding as both like I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. I was a photographer. I took lots of photos, but I had never been to an actual wedding before, never shot a wedding before. And so I thought like, oh, this would be fun. I'll invite Kat to come along. It'll be like a fun date idea. You know, there's free food and wine, there's dancing. Like, it's a great date, right? And you don't have to pay for anything. It's wonderful. But having her there to support me and to also be taking photos, like, it was an amazing experience. So we both kind of fell in love with working together and the idea of just having this experience together and sharing it. So it went really, really well. A few years go by and we end up moving into our first place together. Of course, it was an apartment, if that wasn't obvious. And we were like, we should really think about rebranding because we've been kind of working under Jeff Chang Photography. We even changed it to Jeff Chang Photographers. And we're like, oh yeah, that'll make it clear. But the reality was that Kat and I were partners, 50-50. And it just wasn't doing us and our brand any justice having it be called Jeff Chang Photography. So we thought of 1,000 different names. It was kind of that era where people were putting like, sticks and stones photography, green and blush photography. We're like, oh, okay, we're two people, so we should have, a cool ampersand logo with two random things. And we came up with so many combos and they were all like so bad. Thank goodness we didn't actually go through with that. Anyway, so we bought our first place together. We're moving in, we're setting it up. Up until that point, we were having all of our client meetings in person. So it's like we're just a local photography business. People would come over and hang out in our apartment. And so we wanted to set up the space that was, cozy for them, cozy for us, nice place to work, nice place to live. Everything revolved around the apartment. And we always caught ourselves saying like, oh, the apartment. And it stuck. And we kind of thought, hey, actually, that's not a bad name. Let's call ourselves the apartment. Well, fast forward to the point where we're like rebranded, we've got a logo, we've got a website, and I'm so proud. I tell my parents, I'm like, Mom, Dad, like I have a new company with Kat. We're called The Apartment. And I'm thinking they're going to be like, wow, what a great name. Like, congrats, good for you guys. And my mom just sits there and she's like thinking about it. Like, honestly, it sounds a little cheap. I was like, what? She's like, yeah, why aren't you guys like the penthouse or the mansion or the, the big house on the corner lot? And I'm like, because we don't live in a mansion, Mom. Like we live in an apartment. Like, I don't know if you connected the dots. And also the penthouse is a porn magazine. So I really don't think we want to be associated with that.
No.
Anyway, so that's the long story short of how it came about to name ourselves The Apartment.
I think there's a valuable lesson in there for everybody who's listening. The fact that, when we first create our businesses and we're trying to think of a brand name for the business, we want to make it extremely personal, especially as a solo. And then once you add more people into it, it gets a little more complicated to make it personal, of course. But you guys found a way to make it personal without making it personal, right?
Yeah.
It's not about the two of you, but at the same time, it is about the two of you.
That's so true.
And yeah. So it's definitely a clever way, and it definitely stands out among all of the other names for duo.
There's a sticks and stones photography out there. I'm so sorry. I just put you on blast.
Yeah. All right. I love that backstory. And I believe I even heard a little bit of that while we were together in Las Vegas. But I wanted to make sure that all the listeners also
knew the story.
Yeah. Okay, so the first question I typically ask every guest is, what is one thing you do for the photographic process behind the camera that saves you time?
The photographic process. That saves me time. So many things. So many things running through my head. I definitely love processes, and I love things that make my life more efficient. I think I might be the only person on the face of this earth that still takes a checklist to a wedding, not for poses or shots, but actually for equipment. Probably comes from a fear of leaving things behind or not bringing things. Like my worst nightmare is showing up to a wedding and going, I forgot the batteries, or I forgot, memory cards or something like that.
And you're saying a physical checklist.
Oh yeah, it's like a printed out, and I have friends who are like, you have a printer? I'm like, yeah, I have a printer. It prints on paper, and I have a pen, and the night before a wedding, this is how I go to bed, Kate. The night before a wedding, I get my checklist and I mark off. I go, okay, I got my Canon, I got my 5D, I got my flashes, I got my batteries, and I go through and I literally check it off the list, and I put it into my little cart or put it into a bag, and then I know it's there, and then I fold up my little checklist, put it in my bag. I can go to bed knowing I have everything, and I can wake up in the morning and go and not have that feeling of I think I left something behind because I've done this checklist, right? And then at a wedding, I do it on the way out as well. And it has actually saved me tons of times. I'll think I have everything, right? You're looking, you're like, yeah, okay, every hole is full. And then you'll realize that you've got a battery and a charger plugged in somewhere in the reception, right? And so that's part of it. And then I don't know if this saves me time, if this is just purely paranoia, but I've had memory cards, you load them, and then the numbers don't match. You're on your computer and you're like, okay, I've got a total of 7,000 photos, but it doesn't add up to the first time I loaded them or whatever. Anyway, so same thing. I now add this extra step where at the end of the wedding, when I'm putting my camera away, I'll look at how many photos I've taken on the body, and I'll just write it down next to the body name on my checklist. And then when I get home and actually load them on and they start going to different hard drives and that kind of stuff, I could just double check the number as they go. And I just kind of peace of mind, because I have on one occasion loaded the wrong card. I have my little portfolio of SD cards, and it must have been so late and I must have been so tired because I plugged in a different memory card than the one from the wedding. And I loaded it and I was like, okay, great, thumbs up. The photos are all loaded. I even got it backed up onto an offsite drive, had it going up to the cloud. I'm like, this is great. I had the wrong wedding backed up in 3 different places.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, yeah. And it wasn't until the very next day that I happened to look at the numbers, and I was like, that's so weird. The night before, this camera took 2,700 photos, and yet the card that was loaded only had 2,500 photos. And they were so close, but it was literally a completely different wedding.
Yeah. You're the first person to ever say something like that. I think that's so interesting.
The first person to ever admit.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I am sure that there's a lot of people that are doing that have not admitted it. So if you're listening to this and you also log your photo count before and after a job, go to the Imagen community and confess, because I want to know.
Now, confess and we'll forgive you for your sins.
All your sins are forgiven. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that's great. The checklist thing of, for the night before and then when the wedding is over is very smart. It's very smart to do that. I have made the mistake of after, I make a checklist beforehand. I never make a checklist or have the same checklist for after the job is done. But I did a very large charity family portrait event, and I had a bunch of photographers helping, and I left. It's so stupid. The little Frio, the cold shoe, or a little speed light, but it goes on a light stand. So I love this little Frio thing. It's a $20 piece of plastic, but it was perfect.
Yeah.
And I left it at the venue where this was. And
all by itself.
Just that one thing never came home, and I was so sad.
I think the one thing I've left behind, and to this day I've still not found it, is a softbox. The whole softbox. It was wrapped up in its little bag, and it wasn't on the checklist. It is now. I had to buy another one. And that is an expensive piece of kit that like more expensive than it should be, really. But
the problem with softboxes is they're always black, which, makes sense for light, but at the same time, it blends in with like handbags and coats and stuff.
Yeah.
So if it's on the floor, leaning up, that stinks.
And it's always like you're packing up in the dark, right? It's always a dance party by the time you're leaving. It's like pitch black, which is why I actually carry a flashlight with me as well. God, it sounds so nerdy. Like I bring a checklist to a wedding and a flashlight. I'm going to get made fun of so bad.
No, you're not. This is what this is about. This is about the little things that people don't normally think about.
No, they're like, this is the thing though. Like everyone else is like, don't you have a phone? Can't you put a checklist on your phone? Doesn't your phone have a flashlight? I'm like, yes, these are all true. But I think there are some certain aspects of like real physical things that just make a difference, right? It's like, you have a phone. You can have an entire album of wedding photos on a phone, but we're all purveyors of, or, we all believe in printed products and having photos in your hand. So in the same way, a checklist in real life is, I don't know, it's helpful to me.
Yeah, I agree. I love it. Okay, let's move into the business side of things for a minute. What is one thing you do for the business that saves you time or money?
Something that saves me time or money. Oh man, saving money. I don't know if I do a lot of things that save money, to be honest. I definitely take good care of my equipment. Sometimes people, you look at their cameras and they're silver, but they didn't start silver.
Right.
Have you ever seen that before?
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
I was like, are you going for that like vintage rangefinder look on your SLR?
Yeah.
Like, no.
I love the direction you just went with this, because typically when I ask this question, nobody talks about their camera gear. So I love that you went this direction.
No,
because it is true.
It's not that like I'm walking around going, ooh, I can sell this camera for 50% of its value one day. That's not what I'm thinking. But I do just take care of my gear, and I know that it does retain value. Like every time I buy a new camera, I don't think, oh, this is a $3,000 camera. I actually think it's going to cost me $1,500 in rent for the next 2 or 3 years, and then I'm going to sell it for $1,500. And you know what I mean? Like that's kind of how I look at it. I'm leasing this camera for
But also, like, if you're shooting a wedding that's on the beach, for example, right? Now you got sand. And if you're not protecting your equipment and cleaning it properly afterwards, now your very expensive camera and lens are going to last far less. Yes, most pro cameras and lenses have weather sealing, not all of them, but sand is going to destroy it. Salty air is going to, destroy it. So the more you can protect and clean and, maintain it, your investment in that camera and that lens is going to far extend what it would otherwise.
Yeah, it's like a car, right? Like if you are a cab driver, then like your most expensive piece of equipment is your car. And the longer your car goes without needing major repair or replacement, then you're just dividing it up, right? Like if I can shoot 100 weddings on one camera versus 200, well, that's a big difference, right? I don't know if those numbers add up. I'm like, 200 weddings, that seems like a lot, actually. But you get what I'm saying, right? So I think definitely taking care of my gear is one way that I can save money for the business and get new gear when it's appropriate or when it makes sense. Time?
It doesn't have to be time. It could just be the money aspect.
Fine.
That's
great.
fine.
We'll stick with that answer.
Yeah. All right. Moving to editing, and let's leave Imagen off the table for a moment, because we're going to get to Imagen. What is one thing you do for the editing side of things that saves you time?
I love prepping. So I really love metaphors or analogies. And I look at editing a lot like making a meal. So you can either go out and buy a carrot, wash the carrot, peel the carrot, chop the carrot, boil the carrot, I don't know, mush it up and make a nice, carrot mash. Everyone's like,
mash?
Whoa, who's eating carrot mash? I don't know.
Jeff is eating carrot mash, everybody.
Like puree your carrots? I don't know. Right? And hear me out. Then you go, okay, we'll just chop the carrots and boil the carrots, period. And then you can go out and buy a potato, right? Come home, wash the potato, peel the potato, chop the potatoes, boil the potatoes, and then we'll mash the potatoes. Okay, here we go. We eat carrot mash in Canada. No, we don't. We try to play it off as a cultural thing. It's not. So that's great. You've got your chopped up carrots, your boiled carrots, and you've got your mashed potatoes. You're golden. Now, is that the most efficient way of cooking a meal? No, nobody would do that, right? It's like you go buy everything at the same time. You come home, you wash all your ingredients first. You chop up your carrots, you chop up your potatoes, you get them all prepared, and then you boil them all at the same time, right? Like that makes sense. I think in the same way, it's how I look at editing. So I do a lot of prep work because Kat and I shoot together. We each have 2 cameras. That's 4 bodies, 4 lenses running simultaneously. So for me, the idea of editing, once we've called down the images, the idea of just editing one photo at a time and jumping between my angle or perspective to Kat's, back to like my secondary body to her second body, back to me, like that's wild. Like I couldn't possibly do that. Now, you could say, well, okay, why don't you just like sort by camera and edit? Well, there's a certain amount of consistency that I want. I want the look. Unlike Imagine, I'm a human and I'm going to make mistakes and I'm going to see things a certain way on one day, see them a little bit different the other day. I'm not a robot, right? So having everything together is helpful. But what I do like to do is something I like to call sort by color or sort by light source. So say we're doing getting ready photos and we're in a hotel room and we've taken some photos just in the room while people are having their hair and makeup done and they're being affected by the ambient light in the room. Maybe after the bride's dress is on, we took a few portraits by a window and then we went out on the balcony and took a few photos in the sun. So all of those photos are all mixed up right now. And what I'll do is my camera, her camera, I'll put them all together, but I will sort and say, okay, all the photos of the bridesmaids or the wedding party, I'm going to put them all in one little spot and I'll color code them. So I'll be like, you're all red. And then I'll gather up all of the window photos. You're now yellow. Gather up all the balcony photos and now you're green. And I'll do that for the entire wedding. And it takes about maybe 20 to 30 minutes. Like it's not long. It's pretty quick process. But then what I'll do is I will go and edit the first photo of every color set and I'll get it to exactly where I want it. And then I'll select all of the photos that are the same color zone and I'll sync them. And I'll do that. I call it like, I don't know, mass syncing. What are you syncing about? Okay, no. So you go and you sync all the photos and that takes another 20 minutes. And then now I'm ready to edit each photo individually because now I know that every time I reach a new photo, it has the adjustments that are appropriate for its specific lighting situation.
Yeah, that's a really good approach.
That's how I keep it consistent. And then when you go like sort by time and they go bloom back to where they go, I'm not worried that the one window photo and then there's another window photo 10 photos later. I'm not worried that they're going to look different, wildly different. They're actually going to be super similar.
Yeah, that's a fantastic way to do it when you have to do it manually to make sure that those lighting differences get as consistent as possible. And then you're just worrying about the minor details in between that might have changed. You know, like you might be in one room with this mixed lighting, but then if a cloud went in front of the sun, there's that slight change that you have to worry about, you know, but otherwise like the bulk of it is out of the way. I like that approach. Never heard that before.
It's basically like back to that analogy of cooking. It's just getting all your ducks in a row. Like I want to have all my ingredients laid out in front of me. You know, if you've got your 10, 15 ingredients all chopped up, all ready to go, and now you can get to the cooking part, you can just go and you can just rock it out. And I'm I would say a pretty efficient editor. I use an editing deck to help with, you know, adjusting all the things. And between that, once I've actually got my sort by color done and I've gone and mass synced everything, I can get a 800 photo wedding done in an hour and a half to 2 hours. But it is like, I'm going to town. Like it's, I need a nap afterwards.
Pure focus. Yeah,
pure focus.
It's mental.
Oh yeah. Mentally. And I'm not listening to like, I'm basically listening. I don't listen to heavy metal, but like essentially heavy metal is what has to play in my ears. Otherwise I'll start like drifting and I'll be like, ooh, shiny things.
Yeah. My favorite, what I'm trying to focus, which isn't always the best, depending on how tired I am, is a Sigur Rós album. Because it's so relaxing and gets you like almost in this meditative space. But then at the same time, it could, if you're like tired already, it could be too relaxing and you just fall asleep. So it's also my go-to when I'm on an airplane and I want to sleep. So I've got 2 reasons, two times where I listen to.
What was the name of it? I gotta look that up.
It's Sigurros. They're from Iceland.
Oh, cool.
Well, the guitarists actually use a violin bow to play the guitar.
That's different.
Yeah. When we stop recording, I'll send you my favorite album from them.
Please do.
So, okay. You've just shot a wedding.
Yeah.
What is now one thing you do after the wedding that helps for you to increase business?
Oh, that is a question. I'm like, there's a red flag going up right now. Like, Jeff, I don't know if you do anything to increase business after a wedding. Okay, no, I do. I just thought of it. I just don't think I ever thought of it that way.
This is the whole point.
This is the whole point. So we all know about sneak peeks or previews. So right after the wedding, I'll try to get them done. Honestly, I'll tell you two versions of sneak peeks.
Okay.
One version is a few days after the wedding. I've had some time to go through the photos. I will edit a few out. I always include the family photos because I know that's something that they want. So do family photos, a few portraits, and a few details, things that I know other vendors might want to get their hands on. If there was a special cake, if there was a ton of florals, those kind of details that I know that local vendors are really going to want to get their hands on. And so I'll set up a gallery on PicTime and send those out to all the vendors. And it's awesome because they will use those photos, they'll post them. Now, when I was really, really hungry, I would do it on the day. So I would bring my laptop to a wedding and I would load all the photos at the end of the day. And that was actually part of my backup system. There was a time in my life where I was like extra paranoid and I didn't want to leave the wedding until I had a secondary copy, not just like 2 cards in the camera. I mean, like on a hard drive altogether.
Yeah.
So I was already doing that. And I said, if I already have all the photos on my computer, like I could work on sneak peeks right now. And the extra little tip is that I rate in camera every once in a while. I'm not like culling on my camera, but I'll, when you're taking a photograph and you're like, damn, that was an awesome shot.
Yeah.
You're looking at it. You're already looking at it. Push the rate button. That's it. Move on. Keep shooting. And you're doing a speech and dad laughs wholeheartedly and you're like, oh man, that was such a great moment. Hit that rate button. Family photos, same thing. So actually family photos, I do a little looser. So I'll take 3-4 photos of a group and I'll just scroll through quickly in camera to be like, I want to make sure all your eyes are open because I don't want to have to Photoshop anything later. I'll just go check. And I go, oh yeah, everyone's eyes are open in this one. Right. Okay, guys, next photo. I do that all. It saves me so much time later. So now, end of the night, the photos are all loaded. I just hit, hey, show me all my 1-stars. Boom. I've got a couple portraits, something from the reception, and I've got all the family photos already pre-called. And now I just need to find a couple of pictures of some flowers or maybe the cake, something that I didn't rate. I'll edit those, 30, 40 photos. I don't put them on the galleries. Instead, I put them on my phone. And I walk around and I go, hey, wedding planner, do you want the photos from today? And they're like, what? And I'm like, I'll airdrop them to you right now on your phone. Like they literally, their minds are blown, right? They're like, the photos from today on my phone.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, on your phone right now. And I used to do this. And actually, Erin Bishop was at Way Up North. She's a wedding planner here in Vancouver, but she helps the technical production of Way Up North. And she did a talk, a presentation, I think it was a number of years ago. And someone messaged me afterwards and said, Erin talked about you and how you used to give previews day of on the phone. And I was like, oh, wow, I just made all of Europe super angry. Because they're like, wait, is this the expectation? Is the expectation that we got to make previews like night of? I'm like, no, it's not. I was a little cuckoo. But they haven't posted anything, right, at that point. And that's kind of where I wanted to get in. I didn't want them to post all of their regular BTS and then nothing for 2 or 3 days because they're most excited the very next day. So if you can get them into people's hands night of or morning the next day, is the best chance that they're going to actually use your content rather than their own, right? Because they're going to post about their flowers that they did or the cake they made, right? They want
you're not any more top of mind in their minds than
that exact moment, And same with the clients. So I would go up to the couple at the end of the night and give them a hug goodbye, kind of connect with them just before we go. And then I would say the same thing. I'd be like, hey, any chance you guys want me to airdrop you some photos from today? And they would like freak out. They'd be like, what? And they would have, all their family photos and they'd be like, oh my God, mom. And oh, look at dad. And they'd have this little sweet moment together. And it just kind of was the cherry on top. Yeah. Now, I don't have that hunger anymore. So I don't know if it's sustainable or if it's something that people want to do, but it definitely was super effective. Now it's kind of like the next day I'll have same thing. I still rate in camera on the day. That's definitely a huge help. Get on my computer the next day, get the photos, I'll create the gallery, and then I'll just email them out to all the different vendors. But I can tell that there's a lot less taking and sharing of photos when you send it by gallery, because then they're like looking at a gallery, having to download them onto their phone, save it, and then go back to Instagram and then post. Like, there's way more steps. But if I'm airdropping you photos, then when
It's
the only
right
way it's right there. You go to Instagram, you're like, oh, I can either post these 5 pictures that are amazing or the 80 that I took on my phone that look terrible, right? So it's like, which photo are they going to use? Do the math, right?
They're definitely using the one they just paid a lot of money for, too.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that. My favorite part of the show is one that you probably have never seen before. Pick a color.
Oh, wow. The yellow one just stood out to me.
Yellow. All right. I'm going to... This is when I get to pick you a question. You're picking a question that I probably would have never asked otherwise. So
you've read all of these, have you?
I have not gone through all of these.
Oh, so they really is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm going to thumb through it. Tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Okay. Just remember that you picked this question, not me.
Okay. Viewers, I want you to all recognize that Scott did this off camera. So, we really don't know.
Okay. I do believe that I asked somebody this question previously, so I must have gotten to this card. I do shuffle these afterwards. What's the biggest lie you once believed was true?
What's the biggest lie you once believed was true? Is it wedding related or just like in life?
Whatever. It doesn't even make a difference. It's just a fun way to throw a curveball in there.
It's a total curveball. So as a child, as a third child, I was I might have been a boo-boo. And because I whispered this into the microphone. I might have been a boo-boo. And I spent a lot of time at home watching my dad work. And my dad at the time he retired as a realtor, but when I was younger, he was a bit of a mechanic. So he would fix refrigerators and dishwashers, like hot water heaters. I don't know what trade that is. Like plumber? Like
plumbing, I think, yeah.
Plumbing, yeah. So like that was kind of his trade. And we had a basement where it was kind of his workshop. And I would always go down the stairs and I would just ask to like help. And he'd be like, no, it's dangerous. And I would like sit on the stairs and just watch my dad work. And every once in a while, he'd be working on a refrigerator or something. And he would get his jacket and leave. And I would say, oh, where are you going? And he would say, oh, I'm going to go buy some pots. And he always say pots. And I was like, oh, what is that? And he'd come home every once in a while and he'd have like a part that was like this big, right? And it was kind of shaped like a pot, like a cooking pot, but it had like a lid. And I was like, oh, okay. So I just connected those two things together. And years and years and years go by, and of watching him work and going out to buy this pot. And I don't remember how old I was. But one day he goes out and he's like, oh, I'm going to go buy some pots. And I was like, why do you need pots? Like, you're not working on a refrigerator. This was just like at home, right? And he's like, yeah, I got to fix this and this and this. And I was like, oh, why would you need pots for that? And he's like, yeah, I need to buy pots. And I was like, wait, are you saying parts? Like you've just been mispronouncing parts for like my entire childhood? And sure enough, he's like, yeah, parts. And I'm like, oh my God, like my world was shattered. I was like, what's this thing in a refrigerator that you've been buying that I thought was called pots this whole time? And he just had this sweet accent and he's just saying pots. Parts.
So that's so funny. I thought you were, at first I thought you were going with like a different type of pot. And then I realized that at one point I'm like, oh, he's saying parts.
Saying parts.
Either way, that's a good story.
Yeah, turns out my dad's a huge pothead and he's just going out buying pots. Yeah.
And all the fixing all the stuff was just an excuse.
Yeah, exactly. So that was a little like shattering of my reality, I suppose. Yeah.
Love it. Great story. Okay. Now, you're going to dig deep on this one. Mm-hmm. I want you to look down at your business from a 30,000-foot view. Can you please share an outline breakdown of your workflow from lead to delivery? So like when a wedding comes in.
I would have also accepted the view from an airplane because airplanes fly around 30,000 feet, right?
Judges?
An outline view of what it looks like from lead to
Delivery.
to delivery.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. This is a
Bullet
real
points.
question.
Oh, yeah.
Bullet-
This is my favorite part besides the random question thing because it's going to make you think of something that you would have never thought of otherwise. And this is what really helps listeners to realize, oh, I could be doing this way better. So,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I feel like the reality is there's so many parts of this
yeah.
process that could be tightened up.
Yeah.
And there's definitely someone who's going to be like, that doesn't make sense at all. Why would you do it that way? And I think a big part of it, I'll preface this, is you get stuck in patterns or ways of doing things, right? Like you load a dishwasher a certain way until someone goes, why do you put your dishes that way? Or why do you start at the end and come forward? Why don't you start at the closest and then go back? It's one of those things, right?
Yep.
Okay, lead comes in, I email them, and I actually send a video as well, introducing ourselves and just saying hi and thanking them and showing some appreciation for them taking the time to reach out in the first place. And then that gives kind of two ways of communication. So they can email us back or they can DM us back, their choice. We set up a meeting. So if they're interested and they're like, yeah, we got your guide, we like what we're looking at, let's set up a meeting. So they already have a link where they can set up a Zoom call with us, or we do it in person if they live in town. So if they live in town, I prefer in person because everything is like, no doubt, everything is in person. You cannot tell me that Zoom is better than in person unless they're in a different country or they live, hours and hours away. So we've got two different calendars that set that up. We have the meeting, and then after the meeting, we send them a thank you email. And we basically just outline what we talked about, if there's anything that we said that we would send them, like links or, a link to a full gallery or whatever they asked for. And then we wait. And eventually, if they come forward and they're like, yeah, let's make this happen. And then we send them the agreement and we get them get the deposit set up and done. At that point, Kat does a lot of the emailing at this point. So I do all the ingest and the kind of initial inquiry. Kat does all the onboarding. So once they've actually said, yes, we'd like to move forward, Kat will take care of the agreement, payment, and as well as we kind of sell ourselves as full service. We are full-time wedding photographers. We want to be as helpful and useful to our couples as possible. So if they want to, if they want to ask us, they can ask us anything. And even if we don't know the answer, if we don't feel like we're the qualified person for this answer, then we want to direct them to the right person. And even that, I think, is helpful.
Yeah.
So they might say, hey, we're setting up our reception out on a field. And we remember during our meeting, you said that depending on where the light is, there is a direction that would be better. And so send us the floor plan of what you got so far. We've been to that venue before. We think if you set up your table, facing the big tree, that would be perfect. And it'd be great for sunset photos. That's the kind of advice that I think really solidifies that these photographers are going above and beyond for us.
Yes. 100%.
Right? Rather than, thank you for your deposit, see you in a year.
Yeah.
Right? It's a lot of work because Kat gets, we take 30 to 40 clients a year. So she'll get random emails just any time of day and just be like, oh, this is an interesting question or interesting request. But what it does do for us is it gives us a way to guide how the day is going to go. And it's like borderline manipulation. It's not it really isn't. We want them to have their best day. The things that we help guide and that we know will help us out is their schedule. Because if we don't say anything and there's no trust built prior to the wedding, we're going to show up and they're going to be like, yes, we have 20 minutes to do portraits and family photos. And you're like, oh, that's nice, right? No, that doesn't work for us, right? And it doesn't work. They've hired us because they've seen our portfolio, they've seen a whole wedding, and they go, yeah, we want that. That's what we want.
Right.
So the best thing we can do to help them get that is by guiding the process and saying, let us know. When you start working on your schedule and you're really fine-tuning it, I know you've got your ceremony set at 3 p.m., but everything on your day is completely flexible at this point. Let us know. Let us into that process. And they're so happy to do so. They're like, oh, our planner suggested 45 minutes for portraits at that forest location that you had mentioned. We go, oh, that's awesome. But like, don't forget, it's 15 minutes away. So that's 15 minutes both ways. That's a half hour. And also like, why stress on your day when you don't have to, right? Like, why don't you build in an extra 10 minutes beforehand in case your wedding party needs to go pee or you need to refill your drinks or you want to grab lunch? Like, let's put 10 minutes there. Let's put 10 minutes at the end and let's give ourselves an hour at the forest rather than 45. And then on the day, it's like just so smooth. Everything is smooth. And we know that we've built in this buffer time. The clients are happier. We're happier. It took effort on our part rather than just showing up and getting a schedule that just gets, given to you. But wedding planners know to expect that from us. Like, they will say, ask your photographers how much time they're going to need rather than here's the schedule.
Yeah.
Right. And, on the plus side too, like, we bill ourselves on time. And this is probably the last thing we think about, but it is a bonus. So if you're thinking, well, what's in it for me other than more time to take photos, to be creative, to be less stressed, to have your clients really appreciate you, and that's not enough, then being involved in the scheduling means that your 8-hour day could be a 10-hour day or an 11-hour day with your input. And we get paid by time. So you also get paid more. So there is that actual, there's a monetary gain as well. Again, it's the last thing we think about, right? Like, I'd be happy to shoot an 8-hour wedding versus an 11-hour wedding, but a stressful 8 versus a chill 11, I'll take that any day.
Yeah.
So we shoot the day. Let me see. I like to bring a cooler. Okay, here's a hack. On a really hot day, like a American 100-degree day or a Canadian 35-degree day, I will pack a cooler with some pop, some granola bars, even like some mandarin oranges. Like, go to town, get your like soccer mom bag of fruit. Like, do it. Like, it's good. Do that. And then my hack is take a hand towel, put it in a Ziploc bag, throw some ice cubes in it, zip it up, leave it in the bag. And when the portraits are done, the ceremony is done, and you're about to move into the reception, and you're like, I'm a disgusting, sticky mess. You go to your cooler, and you wring out this icy cold towel, and you basically give yourself like a sponge bath in a parking lot. Like, it's the...
Yeah.
It sounds gross, but it is the most glorious thing possible.
Yeah,
you just like a cold towel on your face. Like, it feels so good. And you've got like sunscreen on your body or whatever. You just like wipe it off. And then you go into the reception feeling like fresh and renewed. It's the best thing that we've come up with. Wedding shot, get home. It is a must to back up the photos right away. We shoot dual card in camera, but we load it onto a server. So we've got like not really a server. It's just like a 5-bay, one of those 5-bay thingies. So we'll load all the photos onto that. And then I also load all the photos onto a little offsite drive that I keep offsite in a secret. And so I got my offsite, I got my dual redundancy on-site, and then I can go to bed. Next day, I'll work on the photos and get the sneak peeks out or the preview files out. And then what? Send them all to the vendors. And then, eventually, 1 month later, no, it's probably like 3 months later, 4 months later, the 1 hour later. Yeah, except it's like 4 months later. So 4 months later, I'll get around to getting the photos culled and edited and then delivered. If they've got an album pre-ordered, that's great. Then we'll work on the album as well, send them the preview for that, and then get those printed. We send out a thank you card as well. Now, what I used to do pre-pandemic, and I kind of want to get back into doing this, we used to make like a physical box. We had like a box with our logo on it.
Right.
And we would have some prints made. It was actually, the system was we printed the preview files. And we could do that like prior to, because we would bulk order all these photos so that we weren't getting like 1,000 deliveries. So we would just get the last 10 weddings, all the preview files together, get them printed, sort them out, put them in a little box, and deliver it with their final photos. So they'd get a link, but they'd also get something in the mail. During the pandemic, we were like, what's a cost that we can pull back on? And we realized at the time that we were spending like literally a couple $1,000s on these like custom boxes
Right.
and the prints. And I was like, okay, we're really trying to cut back because of the pandemic. So that was the first thing to go. And now it's like, okay, we're kind of back to normal. We should really consider doing that again. So I haven't brought it back yet, but that would be probably the last step, is sending those photos off.
You could probably bring it back and adjust how they are so they're not as expensive, right? Like,
just as they are, what do you mean?
Like, if let's say, for example, I don't know, I had one here. I don't right now, but like I used to do the wooden ones, right? Whereas like sort of like burned, your logo is like burned into the box almost.
Yeah.
Like, instead of doing that, it could be a beautiful white box with a brand sticker that's a lot less expensive, but still beautiful.
Yeah.
You know,
it gets the point across. I think for the box, it definitely is a statement, right? They get it. It's very beautiful. I don't know how many people kept it. Like, I know a couple of clients have sent a photo of it sitting on a coffee table or something. But ultimately, it's not like my brand is, you know, a brand you want to have. Like, you would never wear an apartment photography t-shirt, right? So do you want that on your coffee table, actually, you know? Yeah. But yeah, it's, I don't know. So yeah, you're right. A cheaper box would probably make a lot of sense because the prints are
You could do cheap and beautiful. Like, there's no,
Totally.
Sorry, keep going.
Agreed. Yeah, so I think that's probably the last thing we do. Something that I have been doing more of is taking the opportunity. This is something I'm still trying to develop and figure out. But at cocktail receptions, used to be the approach was full on candid. Like, we just want to capture people as they are, as authentically as possible. And the reality is there's always two of us. And we don't really need both of us doing cocktail hour. Maybe if there's like 200 guests, that's one thing. But at a lot of weddings now, it's like 60, 80, 90 people, and it's not that hard to cover. So something I started doing was taking people for portraits, just like spontaneously. And Kat would cover the candid stuff, and I would do the portraits. So the perfect example is like this past weekend, we were on the island in Victoria, and the sun was going down. It was so beautiful. And so I just go up to people and like, hey, how's it going? Start to interrupt. Would you do like a portrait? And they'd be like, oh, yes. And literally, I've only ever gotten one person being like, oh, no, we're okay. Like, literally one. And like, don't let that discourage you. Everyone else is dressed up, right? Everyone's dressed up. They've taken time to get ready and to look their best. And they're not a part of family photos. They're not part of like, they're not doing friends photos, whatever, right? So the only photo they're going to get from this wedding day is if their partner takes a photo of them on their phone. Like, that's it. Or if their friends take turns, you know, you see them like gathering up and they take turns taking photos of each other. So it's a treat. It's a total treat to have the photographer pay attention to you and want to take photos of you. And I do. It's a lot of fun for me. So I'll just go up to a couple and I'll feel like, hey, do you guys want a portrait? And they're like, yeah, we'd love that. And I'll like walk away. Like, we'll literally like leave the reception area and like go to there was a nice garden. And the whole time they're just like, oh my God, we're getting our own private photo shoot. And they're just getting so psyched and they feel special, right? And so I'll go and I'll take a few photos. I'll show them the photos I take and they're like, oh my God, these are amazing. Now, the part that I have yet to develop is how do I get them these photos like sooner rather than later, right? And there are solutions and you're probably already thinking of some.
Yep.
But the aspect that I think works is the connection. So from doing this over the last, I've only been doing this for like a year and a half, maybe. I've gotten emails from people saying, hey, like an inquiry saying, hey, you probably don't remember us, but you took a photo of us at our friend's so-and-so and so-and-so's wedding.
Yeah.
And I could either be the photographer who just walks around looking cool the whole time and being like, I'm too cool for school. I'm only doing candids, right? Or I can be the photographer that actually engages with the guests and realize that actually the best way to network is to network. Like, you actually have to physically talk to people. You're actually, I said this at Way Up North. I was like, you're literally a walking business card. It's not like, don't passively advertise. Like, you're already there. Your audience is already there. So like, physically have that connection, right? And I was like, well, I can either go up and just like be like, hey, these are pretty good canapes, right? Or I could actually do what I do, which is take photos. The couples that hire us get these beautiful photos of their friends. They can distribute them. They can have fun with them. Whatever they want to do, that's awesome. But I think for me, the value comes in actually having these conversations with couples and giving them a great experience, right? Everyone at the wedding should have a great experience, not just the bride and groom, right? Or the couple, I should say.
Yep.
So it has gone too far at certain times where like I'll take the photo of a couple and then they'll be like, oh, while I'm here, do you mind like taking a photo for my LinkedIn profile? I'm like, oh God, like this is where it's gone too far. And I've like legit had to be like, okay, so like cross your arms and like look over your shoulder. And I'm like, what am I doing right now? Like I gotta go. I'm sorry, I have to go back to the cocktail hour.
I was photographing a family once, and the mom asked me to photograph their son who thought that he wanted to get into acting and asked me to do some headshots.
Right. It can get dangerous.
Yeah, it's very easy. Hey, I have some rapid fire questions about your workflow. Video replies, are they personal or are they, like general, covers the whole
No,
gamut?
100%. I hate to tell you this, but this is literally like the best kept secret. The rate of response quadruples if you send a personal video. If I just send an email, then you're just one of however many emails they've sent out to people, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Send a personal message. It takes 10 seconds. Kiss, keep it simple, stupid. Just literally record yourself saying hi to, hey, Scott and Jeff, thanks so much for emailing me. And I guarantee you will quadruple the response rate.
Yep, I agree. So going above and beyond, I just want to relate to that as well. As you brought up early on, before we started recording, I photograph surprise proposals, right?
Yeah.
As a proposal photographer, I go above and beyond and actually help plan the proposal.
Amazing.
So
Wow.
I completely agree. Like that makes you stand out. And I show in my marketing for proposal photography that I go above and beyond with the planning and show how I plan with you and stuff.
That's awesome. I think that's an aspect I don't think we do very well.
Showing, you mean like marketing that the fact that you go
Marketing
above and beyond?
the aspect that we go above and beyond. I think it's partly to do with like humility. Like there's a certain amount of like cultural humbleness that I was just raised with, and it's really hard for me to boast about it in a way that doesn't come across to me as boasting, even though you're like, well, you're not. You're actually just explaining the service that you provide. I get that, but there's a bit of a hurdle for me.
Yeah. No, there's ways to do it. I found the way that works well for me with the proposal stuff, which is less complicated than a full wedding day, but in my opinion, equally as stressful because you have a finite amount of time. And then the last thing was how often, I was taking a little bit of notes when my handwriting stinks. And anyway, so how often do the planners fight with your schedule versus their own? Does that come up a lot or?
No, they're actually super chill. Like oftentimes it's collaborative because clients will say, oh, we're working with a planner and they'll CC us in on the day. No, I mean, this question is probably best suited for Kat because she does most of the communication with them. But I think because we've been in the industry here in Vancouver for so long, coming up 18 years, we know almost every wedding planner personally. And so, I don't think so. I don't think we have, I think things like sunset photos are complicated because it's usually during the reception. So that might be like, we're trying to get like dad's, and that's a day of thing, right? Because you plan it all and you go like, we'll sneak off for 15 minutes. And the wedding planner's like, I've got it in the schedule, 8:45, you guys are going to go. But of course, what happens? 8:45 hits and they still haven't done the 2 speeches they said they were going to have, right? So that's where there's like day of negotiating of like, okay, what if we just did it here or whatever? And I think something that I've really come to accept is it's not about you. It's what's in the best interest of the couple's experience on the day. And that's the part that I really treasure. I really want to safeguard the couple's experience on the day. It's super, super important to me. Sometimes the videographer might say, we really want these 8:45 sunset photos or sunset video that we want to do. And in the back of my head, I'm thinking, okay, well, they still have 2 speeches to go. They haven't even had their main meals yet. And I can tell from their energy that they're anxious, they're hungry, and they need a break from our energy. And I'm thinking, I've got a lot of photos from earlier. I'm super happy. I'm like, something that I'm going to be proud to deliver. These sunset photos aren't going to like make or break their day. And if I deliver or don't deliver sunset photos, what really does that affect me? Like it actually doesn't, right? So in this moment, I think the best thing for them is actually to skip the sunset photos at 8:45 and eat because they haven't eaten yet. Have your meal. It's all good, right? Have your meal. And after that, it's going to be blue hour, or there's going to be some cool, residual light. And let's go do some, fun silhouettes, or we can play with sparklers or whatever. And I'll go up and talk to them, right? Because they're like, talk to our planner, blah, 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 blah. I'll go up and be like, hey guys, you know what? The sun's kind of going behind like some trees right now. It's not looking so great anyways. Like, why don't you guys just enjoy dinner? You've got 2 more speeches and we'll take you guys afterwards. And they'll go, oh, and you can just see their body go like, oh, like, that's great. Thank you, Jeff. Relief, right? And so they're going to have a better experience on the day. That is literally all that matters to me. It's like first, right? Photos come second, really. And so, yeah, I don't know if that answered your question.
Yeah, it did. Okay, let's move into the last question I got for you. So as we wrap this up, how did Imagine impact your life?
Interesting. Just like, I've got the cheeky answer, and then I've got the like more legit answer. The cheeky answer is just a lot of new faces in my life, which is like great, and a lot of dinners.
Yeah, the dinners are good.
Dinners are fun. Dinners are good. Yeah, imagine is so. You know how we kind of had that analogy where I was like, buy the carrots. We made the carrot mash earlier. You remember the carrot?
Sure did.
Do you remember 32 minutes ago when I talked about carrot mash and you were like, what kind of crazy Canadian are you? So Imagine for me is...
It's like carrot mash.
It's like... Imagine it's like carrot mash. The mash you never thought you needed, but there you go. Okay, so say you're at a Michelin star restaurant, right? And let's just say there's a famous chef, Scott, okay? Chef Scott.
Yeah, chef.
And you're like, Chef Scott is an artist. Chef Scott is renowned. Chef Scott is a 3 Michelin star chef. He's amazing. Now, he's back there in the kitchen, preparing the meal. You receive your first dish. It's beautiful. You eat it and you go, amazing. Now, knowing that Chef Scott didn't actually peel the carrots, and he didn't peel the potatoes, and he didn't boil them, and he didn't even, kind of cook them, but he kind of did the final touches and added the garnish, plated it, and he was like, this is up to my standard. And he put it up onto the what do they call that?
I don't remember
the heat warmer or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The pass, isn't it called the pass?
Thank you. So he puts it up on the pass, goes ding, ding, order's ready, right? Mm-hmm. Even though you know all of that, do you take away any credit to Chef Scott because he didn't peel the carrots and he didn't peel the potatoes? Or do you go, damn, Chef Scott makes an amazing carrot mash?
That's exactly what I say.
Right? That's what you say. Chef Scott makes a damn good carrot mash. You're like, he's amazing, and he deserves his 3 Michelin stars, and he deserves all the accolades that he's received as being a renowned chef. And in the same way, I think that's how Imagine helps me, right? Imagine is the prep cook. Imagine is the line cook. It's the peeler. It's the boiling. It's the preparation. It's all of those parts that I could do. You could ask Chef Scott to do. But would you rather Chef Scott be the buck stops at Chef Scott? He's going to be the one who's going to say, this is up to my standard. This needs a tweak. He's going to taste it and go, this needs a little bit more cardamom, or it needs a little bit more pepper. He's going to make those adjustments before it goes out. That's where you want him. You don't want him back there sweating, being like, I got to peel these carrots and peel these potatoes. Like, he could cook the whole meal by himself, but how is he going to do it for 200 people at this restaurant? It's impossible. He's going to run himself dry. He's going to be exhausted. And guess what? The quality will suffer. Nice. And so I think that's where Imagine comes in, and it's going to take care of the grunt work. It's going to take care of all that prep. It's going to take care of the boiling, whatever, right? The boiling, broiling, baking. Why does everything start with B?
Yeah, that's a good question. I've always wondered that as well.
I don't know. So Imagine took care of all of those things, and I get to be the chef at the end of the line who goes, this needs a tweak. This is perfect. This is ready to go. And yeah, that's kind of my cooking analogy for how Imagine is a part of my life.
Amazing. I love it. Where can listeners learn more about you, connect with you, and of course, see your incredible photography?
Yeah, Instagram is the best place to connect. I don't have a YouTube channel or a TikTok channel, so don't bother. Lots of videos, lots of reels, a lot of educational stuff on our Instagram. And we have an email list that you can sign up from the links on our bio or in our bio. And we don't spam you. In fact, I haven't sent an email in probably 6 months. So it's a super active email list. You'll want to join that.
Awesome. Thank you again for chatting. And I did tell you there's going to be a lot of laughs on this, and there was. So there we go.
It was a pleasure, Scott. It was a lot of fun.
You have been listening to the Workflows Photography Podcast. To hear more from Workflows, to learn more about our guest, and for an exclusive offer for Workflows listeners, please go to workflowspodcast.com. And be sure to subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time.